What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today it is the end of the week. We have had a mostly positive week, pretty stable week, grinding to the upside. Of course, today we do have one of our bigger red days of the week. And well, if you go on Twitter and you go anywhere, you're pretty much going to hear that this guy is to blame for it. And of course, he changed his avatar here on Twitter. But Elon Musk posted last night Bitcoin with a broken heart and then makes a little Linkin Park reference in here. And well, the market immediately started to tank after he posts this. And well, after the market started to tank, he of course decided to add insult to injury and really just, yeah. And of course, if you dig through the comments of what, he replies to and the people who comment on his tweets, well, he, continues to go with it too. With this one right here from JRNY Crypto Twitter, when Elon Musk posts about Bitcoin, Elon Musk laughs and says needs laser eyes too. So insult to injury, right? Upsetting a lot of people on Twitter, upsetting a lot of people just in the crypto world. And of course, what's happening today, if you don't know, Bitcoin 2021 in Miami, Florida, the largest Bitcoin event in history. So there's a big Bitcoin event, Bitcoin conference happening in Miami today and tomorrow. And while this is supposed to be happy and joyous and fun and exciting about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, well, the prices are falling and this guy is having a field day with it at the same time. But nothing on my views of what's happening in crypto changes. Throughout this whole week, I've been trying to put together more detailed analysis, bigger perspective stuff, and I stand by everything that I've posted throughout this week. But today, seeing a little bit of a pull down, seeing some stuff happen. Is Elon to blame? Well, one of the things I keep pointing to is what's happening over here in the total altcoin market cap with this back test that's happening here on top of the all-time high breakout. We've talked about a V bottom coming out of here, that this V bottom would be grueling, painful. It would not grind back up at the same rate at which it came back down, because when we were coming down, you had panic selling, you had liquidation, margin calls, you had all kinds of things happening at one time with the prices falling, and that it would be more grueling of a ride up. And we've talked back to what the previous crash looked like back in March of last year. We've compared this to the great financial crisis, compared this to recoveries that have happened over in the Dow Jones. And when we take that crash that happened back in March of 2020, well, what's happening here? Anything crazy? No, it's going at the exact same rate. And even in that fractal, there was this exact same pull down from right in here that happened just like that with our continuing grind up and grueling grind up. And that's how I think it's going to be for the whole way out of here. It's going to be just as painful as it was back in March, April, May of 2020. But did anything happen on the charts today from the perspective of the whole crypto market that broke this thing? Nope, I don't see it. Not at all. And so while everybody's attention is focused over here on this guy, I say to myself, what is the game that this guy is playing? He's very smart. We know he's very smart. But at the same time, a lot of the things that are occurring don't really add up. And I'm going to try to make some sense out of all of this, because if we just take it for the surface value of what is happening here, it looks like a person who is just completely self-destructive. And I really doubt that's what's happening. You'd essentially have to believe that Tesla bought a bunch of Bitcoin and then just began to crumble on their own investment, intentionally trying to lose money, intentionally trying to hurt a bunch of people, from the same person who creates vehicles to try to help the world, that he's also trying to hurt people. And so I'm going to try to make sense of this from a chart perspective. So I'm going to remove all the narratives. I'm going to remove all of that stuff from what we see on the surface and try to make some sense of it on how could Elon Musk benefit from everything that is happening? How could he benefit from announcing in the first place that Tesla bought Bitcoin when they announced it, right? Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin down in here. They announced it right here. Then Tesla did not purchase any more Bitcoin. They did sell off like 10% or something of like that up in here to test liquidity and prove that they could do it. And then shortly thereafter, after Bitcoin completes a 702 retracement, Elon starts all this negative stuff about Bitcoin in here. All the meanwhile, the price comes right back down to the accumulation zone of where Tesla originally accumulated their Bitcoin. However, price had started popping further away from their accumulation zone and now pushes it a little bit closer back to where the accumulation zone is. Now, do you honestly think that Elon Musk is trying to destroy his own investment that his company has made? When I just use logical reasoning, I say to myself, no, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that to hurt his own investment. What would make more logical sense, of course, you got to put your tinfoil hat on, would be that we're back in Tesla's accumulation zone. And maybe Tesla didn't accumulate the amount that they wanted in their accumulation zone, decided to push the prices up, get long-term holders out, like me, to sell into those higher prices, meanwhile convincing retail traders to have laser eyes and diamond hands and put it into the people who said they had diamond hands but didn't really, and then get the price to come back to the accumulation zone and get all the weak-handed retail investors to hand those Bitcoins back over to Tesla. Would that make more sense? That would make way more sense of what's happening. Tesla buys Bitcoin. Tesla tells people they bought Bitcoin. Laser eyes, diamond hands, start a movement among retail traders, convince them that this is all going to be fantastic and wonderful, complete a 702 retracement, now start a negative campaign on Bitcoin to get the price all the way back down to the accumulation zone with incredibly high volume, and Tesla accumulate more Bitcoin. Now, the thing is, this is something we won't know the answer to on whether that was occurring or wasn't occurring until months from now, because that's what happened when Tesla announced that they purchased Bitcoin, is they waited until well after to finally tell everybody. But I've learned in this world that you can't take things for surface value or what all people tend to jump to the conclusion of, that Tesla is somehow, or Elon Musk is somehow destroying Tesla's investment because he's erratic and crazy and wild. I don't think so. A lot of this was timed a little bit too perfectly, and in particular, really happening right after this retracement, and it didn't occur until after that. It all began right in here. Meanwhile, the price is back to the level where Tesla accumulated at. If you're a large institution, a large company, you're looking at this price level and you're saying, what did Tesla know that we didn't know? Why did Tesla buy this price level so strong and do that? Should we be buying here too? I don't know. But you would have to kind of jump to weird conclusions to think that Tesla and Elon Musk didn't know what they were doing when they bought the $1.5 billion of Bitcoin in the first place. That's not a small amount, right? Even if they bought $100 million worth, it's not a small amount. It's enough to market it and say we did it. $1.5 billion, you took a big plunge into Bitcoin. You can't tell me that you didn't do some type of research and understand Chinese mining, slow transaction times, and expensive transactions prior to making that investment. There's no way they didn't know it. Of course they knew it, but they did it anyway for some reason. And then shortly thereafter, we see the strong hands sell to the retail laser eyes, and then the retail laser eyes sell back onto the market. Who's the person buying back down in Tesla's accumulation zone? Why did all of this negativity start after the 702 retracement into the downtrend, bringing it down in here? Provide doubt to retail investors, the people who accumulated it all up in here, shake them out. That seems more logical to me than looking at it on surface value, that here's this guy who's intentionally trolling the world and doesn't know what he's doing and he's erratic and that he's harming his own company's investment. I highly doubt it. Like I said, requires a little bit of a tinfoil, but going down the route of thinking that he doesn't know what he's doing requires you to have a tinfoil hat on as well. And which one seems more likely? He does know what he's doing or he doesn't know what he's doing? $1.5 billion. Because from a technical perspective, we've made sense of what has happened with Bitcoin. We've made sense of what the structure looks like from an inverse perspective to show that there would be one more push to the upside. We've made sense of what happened with the total market cap of all of crypto reaching an absolute perfect 4.236 Fibonacci extension based on the rally prior to Bitcoin capitulating back in 2018, which is something we've been talking about for an entire year, looking at for that on each individual asset. And here we are having it on the whole cryptocurrency market. And we're to believe that when this actually happens, it's all Elon Musk's fault. And with that measurement of using that rally prior to capitulation and reaching all the way out there to the 4.236, it's something I talk about on my website, bcbacker.com, but I even talked about it in this video in extreme detail over here, exit plan for the altcoin market in Bitcoin, 2 months ago, 170,000 views, one of my most viewed videos that I have, talking about exactly this, exactly about using this rally on each asset for me, finding my exit plan, to exit up in here. While not all of them did it, we could see the whole market cap has done it precisely to the exact nail. And retail investors are all convinced it's this guy's fault. And so when I look at Bitcoin and I look at the moment in time of when this narrative changed for Elon Musk, all positive stuff for Elon Musk, retail investors buying up the market like crazy, pull down 702 retracement. Elon Musk changes his narrative. I can draw two conclusions from that make any logical sense to me. One, he's helping to scare retail investors to sell into Tesla's accumulation zone. And there's strong accumulation going on here and trying to shake out all the diamond hands who bought after Tesla announced that they bought. So a lot of new investors, retail investors, shaking them out because there wasn't enough liquidity in here for them to get the amount that they wanted to accumulate, and they need more, and that there's strong institutional demand at this price level. And all up in here, the long-term holders who kind of knew what they were doing knew this was the time to be exiting, while all the retail investors and new people came in accumulating this level. Well, the new people have inexperience. They sell into the panic back into Tesla's accumulation zone where they weren't able to accumulate enough in the first place, and now they're able to load up their bags. That makes way more sense to me than he has no idea what he's doing and he's just completely harming himself. Or two, what would make sense to me is he's just flexing that he knows exactly what is occurring in this market, which I posted over here on Twitter this morning. I prefer to think of Elon's tweets as him flexing that he knows exactly when the market is going to turn rather than him actually being the cause of the turn. For the total market cap of all of crypto to hit that with pinpoint precision and for it to be a perfect measurement from where it occurred at, it would seem far more likely that he is just flexing that he knows exactly how to read this market and can time it completely perfectly. And the fact that he knew how to do it right here after the 702 retracement and began it all right in here proves that as well. Everything about his timing is unbelievable. And I do believe it would make way more sense that he's just flexing that he can pinpoint precision nail when turns are going to happen in the market. So either him just flexing that he knows exactly how this market's working, or getting Bitcoin back into the accumulation zone after getting a bunch of weak hands in here to give it back to him in there, and that he wasn't able to accumulate enough back in here. Those scenarios make way more sense to me than an erratic person who has no idea what he's doing and is self harming his company. Time will tell how it plays out and what Tesla's behavior was in this time period, because Tesla did not announce anything to the public until it was in here at this moment in time. Time will tell what institutional demand happened in this time period, because they're not going to tell us right now. If they're loading up on Bitcoin right now and loading up on cryptocurrencies, they are absolutely not going to be telling us right now. They will tell us when they're ready for us to start buying it off of them. And so what happens when prices are high? They convince everybody to buy. What happens when prices are low? They convince everybody to sell. That is normal. So is Elon Musk's behavior out of line with what we normally see in markets? No, it's exactly what we always see. We see, hey, everybody, get excited and buy tops. Hey, everybody, get scared and sell bottoms. It's exactly what we always see. And so while people's emotions are all up in a fury today, I just go back to this and say, is anything crazy happening? Nope. As a matter of fact, if anything, he flexed that he knew this little downturn was going to happen exactly when it would, because that's what we've seen in the past. And like I continue to show on the top here, I have the total altcoin market cap, and on the bottom, I have the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And it was never expected that this thing would come out of here with just as much force as it went down, but that it would be a grueling process to get our way out of here to V-bottom out of here. And so far, nothing with that changes. The only thing that changes is retail perception, as they're getting trolled by this guy on the same day of the Bitcoin event in Miami. And so as we head into the weekend, I go into it with the mind frame of exactly what I've talked about all week. Nothing changes. We saw this happen back in last market cycle, and that at this moment, once it finally cracked through here, this was our final ending phase of the whole market. And I'll still go into it with that belief. Just because we have one down day doesn't change anything, as this is expected to be grueling most likely through most of the summer. If we continue just like that, really, like from a time perspective, that's the only thing I really have to use as a reference for time, is that if we continue to grind out of here like we grind out in these types of situations, most of the summer, or, and I have to take into consideration most people don't live in the northern hemisphere, but most of June and July will be like this. 1.5 step forwards, 1 step back, 1.5 step forwards, 1 step back until we finally make our way out of here. And I think a lot of people forget that the last 4 out of 5 days were green days. And so today we have a red one, and red ones just show up. But I know that emotions are incredibly angry right now, wanting to point the finger at something. And when Elon Musk adds these additional things of, insult to injury, it can be pretty frustrating. But like I keep saying, something smells funny about it all. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that it occurs after a 702 retracement, and then it was in this breakdown right here that Elon started this whole thing, and that the price magically comes back to Tesla's accumulation zone. So turn off the noise, ignore the noise that you see for today, and always remember that bigger things are happening behind the scenes and behind closed doors that you're not entitled to know about, and that the world is a stage, and we already know that to be true. If you watched what happened throughout all of this time period, mainstream media, Tesla, Elon Musk, everybody built up a ton of excitement around Bitcoin, and then now the price falls down. The world is a stage. They created excitement and buzz at higher prices. They're creating fear and panic at bottoms. And I wanted you to know, when I see his tweets, it doesn't bother me at all. And that things look exactly as they should. But all right, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope that you guys are doing okay out there. Some of you may not have even seen those tweets, but boy, if you're on Twitter and in the crypto world, it's pure chaos. There's YouTube videos all over the place. And I thought I would give a different perspective of it rather than being angry at him, being like, you know what, this guy might be playing a game with all of us. Time will tell, but the Bitcoin conference is going to be going on this week. I believe it's just a 2-day event. I think it's today and tomorrow. We'll see if anything meaningful comes out of that or any price action continues throughout that. Looking at that fractal, it shows a boring couple of days in the price action. If we get something crazy that does happen, I will come back throughout the weekend. Should be available this weekend. I don't have anything going on too crazy. But otherwise, I hope that you guys have a great weekend. And for the most part, it was a great week. I think we discovered a lot of stuff on the charts, on the videos throughout this week. I thought it built a really clear picture. My conviction is absolutely that we are going to go set a new high in this market. It's going to be the big, crazy grand finale that happens in crypto that we see at the end of every alt season, where we just see explosions everywhere. And I think a lot of the stuff we're seeing right now is just distractions before that moment comes. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if you're looking for something to do, you can check out my website, bcbacker.com. This is my course where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, and tie those alt seasons into when they've occurred within Bitcoin bull runs. I talk about percentages and mathematics, my personal exit plans. I also did add in an update in here recently, just a couple of days ago. That's available to anybody already enrolled in the course and anybody who does enroll in the course. I also do teach how to set up charts within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro in here if you're looking to figure out how to set up your own indicators and all that good stuff over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. I do post charts and stuff like that and thoughts over here. I do also have fun on Twitter. I had somebody comment yesterday like, hey, this is not appropriate for you to be having fun. This needs to be very professional. Twitter is a place for fun. I have a good time over here, but I do also post charts and indicators and stuff like that. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at bcbacker. Again, I'll catch you guys throughout the weekend if anything crazy happens. But otherwise, hopefully we have just kind of a nice, calm, slowly drifting to the upside weekend, and we all can just kind of relax and enjoy some time with our family. But all right, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope that you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.